Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4,
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
TGIF to my non-basic crew, right? My non-basic crew. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So what's up with the thumbnail? Well, we don't have a whole lot to talk about. I mean, we're going to talk about some Brian Koberger stuff. We're going to talk about some Rudy Farias stuff. Not a whole lot going on. You know, not a whole lot going on. That's intriguing me, except a bunch of scumbags across our country. Just a bunch of criminals, a bunch of scumbags. And so I thought, might as well take us. It's been a while since we walked around the USA, the despicable, the depraved, and the awful, right? It's been a little while. We haven't really discussed anything. We're kind of stuck on these pivotal cases. There's a lot of things out there that need some attention. Just a little bit, not much, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. What about the JonBenet news? Well, I think that's being pretty well covered, in my opinion. You know, I mean, here, let me give you guys my opinion on the situation. Shame on Boulder, Colorado. You want my opinion on it, right? My unpopular viewpoint. Like, I think we need to change the channel from being Bullhorn Betty to unpopular viewpoints, because that's really what we cover, or we've been covering on here, right? Trying to teach the world how to mind their own damn business in many cases. While I'm nosy in other cases, right? The balance. Shame on Boulder, Colorado. I don't know how else to say this. I mean, we got a man. You put a family through a quarter century of pure hell. And we're so stubborn that you refuse to look at anything else. You were fighting 25 years later to test DNA that should have been tested 25 years ago. Or when DNA testing, obviously DNA was not around 25 years ago, or was just developing or being developed. But I'm sorry. No. Thank God justice is here. Thank God justice is here today. Thank God another one of her parents didn't have to go to the grave to see this day. Right? Thank God another one of her parents did not have to go to the grave. Her mother died being accused. Died. Want to talk about JonBenet Ramsey? I'm glad they have somebody that has finally come and confessed. I'm glad. 25 years later. Really, really pleased. I'm really pissed off that it took channels like mine having to write government to do the right thing and test the DNA. A quarter century later, by the way. So shame on Boulder, Colorado. You want my honest opinion? Shame on them. Shame on them what they did to this family. Shame on them. Is the chief of police going to stand up and apologize to JonBenet's family? That's what I would like to know, because let's not fool ourselves. Who convinced the masses that it was the parents responsible? Lou did his best to go in there and show the Boulder police that there was other people that could have come in. Probably mimicked exactly how the perpetrator got in. All the while deceiving the public that the parents were somehow responsible. And 25 years later, we have justice. No thanks to the Boulder, Colorado Police Department, by the way. Sorry, unpopular viewpoints. Unpopular viewpoints. It's sad for me. It is sad for me to hear about John. I'm very pleased. I'm happy. I'm elated. I don't know. I think the somberness, the frustration is the 25 years. I think them refusing to admit their error. I mean, that's what it came down to. The Boulder, Colorado Police Department refused to admit their error. I'm glad she's finally going to hopefully see justice. And I pray to God somehow. I mean, Boulder, Colorado is never going to be able to apologize loud or hard enough to the Ramsey family. But I hope somebody has enough backbone to get up there and truly make a massive public apology to the Ramsey family. That's what I would like to see. A massive, massive public apology. But you know what? In this world, they probably won't do that, right? They'll probably just kind of move it along because they don't want to acknowledge liability, right? In destroying two innocent people that had already been destroyed by losing their daughter. I don't know how you fix that. I'm sure that the Ramsey family couldn't be happier right now. And I'm so happy that they get this win, a check in the right column. You know? Oh, they didn't just drop. Lady O, for us to say dropped the ball is entirely, I'm sorry. I get what you're saying, and I'm not coming down on you. I love you. You know I do. No, that is just too nice of a word. That is just too nice of a phrase to what Boulder police did. That drop the ball. That seems so innocent, so not intentional, not willful. And this is beyond drop the ball. They dropped the ball at the beginning. But at some point, in my opinion, and again, my opinion, not for this channel, not for my audience, my opinion, they did far worse than drop the ball. Because even when they were proven that there was possibility of another person, perpetrator, they doubled down on the family. They didn't even look. 25 years later, they're still fighting with the family to have DNA tested because they just knew it was one of the parents. Let's be honest. You know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm frustrated with the case. I'm happy. I mean, you probably don't think I'm happy because I'm frustrated. I am so happy that they finally have. And look at the dirt bag. Look at the picture of that dirt bag. I don't think they didn't know of this man previously. Give me a break. Give me a break. They didn't look. They didn't look. Shame on them. Shame on them. I am so happy that JonBenet Ramsey, after 25 plus years, may have some type of justice in this case. No thanks to Boulder, Colorado Police Department, by the way. No thanks to them. No thanks to the animals that wanted to fight and thwart testing of DNA. And they're the ones that we pay to represent us. Well, I hope I don't disappear in Colorado. That's what I hope. I hope I don't disappear in Colorado. I hope that I don't have to be in Boulder, Colorado area should something go on. Now, granted, I hope policies after 25 years have changed immensely in Boulder, Colorado. That would be my hope. And I'm confident that that has happened. But I am very frustrated. I want to hear, like me, this is great. But for me, I want to hear the apology. I want to hear the apology from Boulder, Colorado. And anybody that was there suppressing DNA. I don't care what position they held. If you were intentionally and willfully suppressing DNA and failing to test DNA, shame on you. Shame on you. Let's see where we're at. All right, let me get up here. Good morning, everyone. I would go through it, but I've already had some commentary for 15 minutes. So we'll just say hi to everybody in a big blanket hi, right? I was just coming here to, just to talk about a few things, a lot of scumbags. And we got some information. Listen, there's some weirdness going on in that whole Colorado case we covered yesterday. It might not be 5 bodies. It might only be 3. Remember where they say the guy found 1 and then they found 2 more? Well, I think the stories got skewed. And they ended up adding 2 more bodies in that article, because every single article since then is only describing 3 decomposing bodies. So we're going to get into those. We're going to get into that and just have a little update. Make sure that I don't know. I'm not in Colorado. I don't know if it's 5 or 3, but we talked about 5 yesterday. We're going to talk about 3 today. And then there's another one that showed up, but not in Colorado. And we're going to talk about that too. M&M Racing, it's nice to see you. Sonia, good morning, everybody. I'm just trying to, I'm browsing through here to see if I missed any questions, because this is kind of one of those days. Oh, Dumpling's in the house. I'm putting Dumpling to sleep. Good night, Dumpling. Should we sing you some whimsical Z songs? Should we just put some rain on? Or is it just the sound of my screeching voice this time of morning that makes you want to go to sleep? I don't know what it is. Sep says it's nice to see you, love bug. Thank you so much. Big virtual hug. Pittsburgh Nurse, nice to see you. I already talked to Lady O. Aaron, it's nice to see you. Angie, nice to see you as well. Who else do we have? Stacy. Everybody else. Brittany Blue Eyes, nice to see you. Good morning. I'm trying to find, I know we had some. Oh, thank you, Robert Squirrel. We know Robert Squirrel's not the newest member of the coffee club. She's been around the block a time or 2. She's been educated over here. Southern Grammy, it's nice to see you. Let's see what we have here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I might not be down far enough. For such a high profile case, I think they'd have done DNA testing as soon as they could. You would think. But, I kind of, in all fairness, I kind of feel like when the DNA, if we all remember, I mean, it's so hard to remember because technology has brought us so far, and there was a lot of technology that was being bred really quickly. I'm sure it was in scientific stages prior to it, but when it came out like DNA. But the problem is way, way, way back then for the DNA, you had to have such large samples to extract the DNA, right? It was such a hard, much more tedious process than it is today. So, and the chemicals back then, from my understanding, when this all came out, it was like it was like one and done. Once the chemicals got on there, it broke stuff down. I can't remember all the ins and outs. So don't hold me specifically, do your own research on this if this is interesting to you. But it was such a large that many people opted to wait until the science was more developed before these cases. That's why a lot of these cases up front were never tested, because they were scared of losing that last sample that they may have had. Now through this process, there is, the amplification, they can use smaller and smaller and minute small cells to extract DNA from. And they have this way that doesn't really destroy the entire sampling now. And I can see that there may have been a time where possibly Colorado State may have wanted to prevent or decide not to test the DNA for those fears. But we were just here last year kicking up a fuss about when it came to light that there was DNA not tested. At that point, and they had known this for years, but it was just becoming a news cycle last year about this. I would say right about this time, possibly, potentially. I can't remember exactly what time, but around this time of year, we were starting to talk about JonBenet Ramsey again, and that was what we learned. I actually had remember Benny Keys. I actually had Benny Keys on my channel, which I never do very often. We don't like each other. We never lived like each other, but this was something that he had some, it was because he's kind of my age. And this was a case that was almost one of the first notable cases in my mind as a young kid. That and the Susan Smith case, those were the two cases that I recall as a young kid, kind of being the, oh my gosh, cases that I remember. I'm sure there's a lot of cases, but as young kids, they're not really notable. I don't think children pay attention to that. They don't really want to hear about the risks. It's the parent's responsibility, not the child, right? So when it comes to these things, most children aren't paying attention. But these are the two cases that I recall, along with like OJ, really notable cases as a young kid or child. I think I was a child for one of them, Susan or JonBenet. I'm 43 now, so I these were all in the 90s. Who knows? But it was really where my frustration lies. It's when the technology had developed. At that point, they willfully and intentionally and personally with malice. Let's scream out legal terms, right? Like, I feel it was malicious for them not to have checked it. You've been pointing the finger at the parents for 25 years, and you have an opportunity to potentially either confirm or exclude them. And you're refusing to do so. I have no respect for that. I've got no respect for that. If it was our family, right? If it was our family, we would be sickened. We would literally be sickened. Give me just a second. Sorry, I was looking at something. So anyways, I wanted to give you guys an update now that we kind of gone through there. Let me see if there's any other things. Saw on another channel, was sad the Boulder police dropped. Oh, that's right. We already talked about that for you, oh lady oh. Hasn't a couple of men confessed over the years to this crime? I don't think confessed, or if they may have confessed, it might have been one of those people that had mental illness that was proven that there's no way they could have done it. But I don't recall. I don't recall ever hearing that, though. I could be wrong. We're talking about a quarter of a century old case. There's probably a lot of details that many of us have forgotten about. I honestly don't know. I can't remember. Like I'm trying to think just on my memory of the case, and I don't ever remember hearing anybody confess to the crime. But I could be wrong. Buddy's Roadhouse Live. It's nice to see you, Woody Wood. Nice to see you as well. Don't forget who were we talking about, Woody Wood? Good morning. Oh, Crystal, it's nice to see you here. See if there's any other questions here, and then we'll move on with some of the other stuff. Sorry, guys, I get a little behind. Oh, Sepsis gifted 5 gift memberships. God bless you, Sepsis. So if you received a gift membership from Emma, please don't forget to tell Sepsis thank you. Thank you. Aw, Crystal said thank you. Nice, nice. Give me just a second. I think we're about done. If you guys have any questions that I didn't get to, nice to see you, Turkey Man. And I didn't get to, go ahead and drop them down. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and just give a few moments to see if anybody has any questions, and then we'll move on to the bodies here. Let's see, why is this always doing that? Here we go. All right, so I'm confused about the autopsy photo calling such a fuss. JonBenet Ramsey have been up on the net for years. Mac J, there's a lot of things. It's I think the difference is this was such a new case. I think there was still a lot of emotions. No matter how you look at it, the family, any family that has family members with graphic photos on here, not just Gannon's family, all families. I mean, there's some graphic material on the internet. There's some graphic material on the internet. So we all know that. It's our responsibility for ourselves. If something absolutely appalls you, maybe not pay to look at it. Just a thought. There's no good way around it. All I know for me is I didn't purchase, buy, look under the hood for any reason, anywhere. Would I have in a scientific? I have looked at a lot of gruesome stuff, me as a creator, to explain to you. I have not showed you guys gruesome stuff on my channel. That is the appetite, one for my channel, one for me, for a decision to be made. Now, I would hope on my better judgment would not allow me to put an autopsy of a young child. The reason why I say that is because sometimes we get absent-minded and do stupid stuff. Okay, let's be honest. Nobody out there is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Those sitting on your high horse, give it a little bit. I'm sure you'll be knocked off in due time. So she made a mistake. Everybody, it's over with. There's nothing good that's going to come of this other than making sure that this is not going to happen again. But I do want to remind everybody this, and nobody's wanting to take this into consideration. I think the reason why she was hit so hard, personally, now this is just me. Again, an unpopular viewpoint, just my comment, okay? I still have nothing to do with this conversation. I wasn't involved in it. I did not participate in it. So all the haters, back up and rage at the people you want to rage at. I had nothing to do with this, and I only commented on it. If you don't like my comment, okay. So what? You don't like my comment. But there are a lot of people, including the person screaming from the rooftops about this, that not only purchased the photos, was willfully distributing them to her friends. That, to me, is even more disgusting, because you're sitting on your high horse screaming about somebody else, all the while doing the exact same thing. It's disgusting. And that action, to me, is just about as immoral, right? But nobody looks at that. Nobody has looked at that. And nobody has come down on that other creator, except one creator, because that's how I found out about it. Because again, I didn't look at this. I didn't have no knowledge of this. I literally made a comment after the fact that everybody's trying to bring my name into it, as if I posted the videos. No, I didn't. I didn't even pay the $3 to watch it, nor did I order that court file from the courts. So you're mad at me for having a comment? Well, you know what? I hate to break your balls, but there's been about 50,000 people that have had public comments on this very same thing. And moreover, they have been mixed. But I think we can all agree that it was in bad taste. That in many cases, no matter whether it's the scientific side of the community or the emotional side of the community, we understand that there are relevant issues for both arguments. However, I truly believe that this was too soon. 30, 40 years down the road, maybe, because honestly, when I'm reviewing photos and stuff for this channel, a lot of the autopsy photos and stuff that I look at are not of recent cases, but in all fairness, it's all out there. And I'm not saying it's good, bad, or ugly. I'm not having a position on whether it should be there or not. You know how I feel, that I think there's too much graphic videos, TVs, and other things out there. We've talked about that on this channel at the same time, but I'm also cognizant of the law. I'm cognizant of hypocrisy. And I just want, if you're going to blame one, blame all. And don't sit here on the fence and be on this side of the fence and that side of the fence. If you truly are outraged and think it's deplorable, then be outraged at all the actors. All of them. All of them. Because there was multiple. And there's some that still have these graphic images still up. And you still only hear one creator that has apologized twice, that has taken a financial hit from this, is the poster child of what not to do if you accidentally get sent stuff. Okay, she's learned a lesson. She has paid a heavy cost for that. Meanwhile, everybody's looking the other way on all these other people. And I think that that is wrong. And I'm sorry. If you want to beat Bullhorn Betty and act like I did something wrong, go do it. Do whatever what makes you feel good. If that's what makes you feel good to put my name in it, then do it. I don't care. The people that are paying attention know I had nothing to do with this, but I am a fair person. I am a fair person. And I'm a reasonable person. And what I see being done is not fair or reasonable. And if you're going to be mad at one, damn it, you be mad at all. You don't give people free passes while trying to destroy another person. Oh, well, she only did it for this reason. It doesn't matter. If you're outraged that somebody would pay money, which this other creator did, would view the image, which this other creator did, would download the images, which this other creator did, and would distribute them to her friends or whoever sent her an email like this other creator did, and nobody is saying it, they're hailing her a hero. They're hailing her a hero. And she didn't do anything any different than these other people you guys are outraged about. So be outraged. Don't say that, oh, well, she did it for the, no, be outraged. If you're going to be outraged at them all. All of them. Fair is fair. But don't come over here and put your outrage on me when I had nothing to do with any of it. None of it. And I'm not going to sit here and have some people try to intimidate me from having commentary on a difficult topic. And guess what else? Guess what else? I can handle the backlash. The backlash of what? Me telling you that nothing is going to be done, which, you know, no matter how you look at it, yes, they have possible claims to go after them, but they have to come to the state in which Zav Girl lives. I don't even know if Zav Girl's in this country, which would put a whole nother host of legalities on it as well. So let's understand that this needs to be fixed at a government level. It was the government, it was the courts that released these. So somebody at the courthouse made a mistake. So let's quit blaming everybody else and let's start blaming everybody, right? It took a lot of mistakes to get to this point. So quit blaming one person, because let's say it, we have Colorado courts to blame, because if somebody had done their damn job at the Colorado courthouse, none of these images would have been out in the first place. So go ahead and be angry with Bullhorn Betty. You can go ahead and be angry with me. And then I want you to ask yourself, what the hell are you so pissed off at me for? I didn't do it. You know who did? Other people. And you know what else? Even people that you go in and see every day and support why they are so vile to every other creator, they did it too. They did it too. And the most disgusting part about it was, the only concern that they had at the time was that $3 was being charged for it. So they wanted to go in there to get them, to hand them out to other people free of charge. Now you tell me what is more despicable. That to me, no. You're not going to be hailed a hero by Bullhorn Betty. No. And you can take your little cockroaches that want to be over here and try to point the finger at me while nobody's pointing the finger at you. And Queen Bee, I am talking about you. Clip that. But you don't want to tell the truth, do you? Because you deserve backlash just the same, don't you? Look over there. So nobody sees what you did over there. What I saw. And so did many other people. But hey, you keep going up there and talking about Zav Girl. You're no different. You're no different. You did it too. You did it too. You and your filthy animals over there did it too. So what do you have to say for yourself now? It's all disturbing, okay? But let's be honest. Let's be honest. It is up to the audience. It is up to the audience of what they're going to consume, because let's not, take away the fact that people purchase for that. One person we just named that purchased, right? That actually paid money to see it, steal it, and distribute it, right? Allegedly. Right? We got to cover our legal arses in the situation. I didn't even want to say her name because of the situation, but hey, as much lies as she says about me, this is the truth, and she's going to have to prove it. Prove me lying. Prove me that I'm a liar. But I've already got the evidence. I've already got it printed off, and it's already in her file. So it's sad. It's sad. But at the end of the day, it is up to the audience. If people didn't purchase this, nobody would have been there to view it. Let's be honest. So there's a lot of blame all across this thing. And one thing you can't blame is Bullhorn Betty on this. No matter how you try to flip this around, I had nothing to do with it. And it must really burn a lot of hate channels' butts that I had nothing, because you can see them trying to drag me into it. Oh, look what she did. She didn't do that. I made a comment. Me personally have looked at a lot of graphic videos and photos doing this job. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Have I reviewed stuff like that? Yes, I have. I surely have. I surely have. And you know where I've gotten every bit of that? Online. I have never in the history of this channel ordered one autopsy. Not one autopsy or autopsy photos on this channel. I may have one. I may have requested Kylie Rodney's. I may have requested Kylie Rodney's for informational purposes. I may have. I can't remember if I did or not. But at the end of the day, I'm not, I do look at graphic material. I'm sure many of you, doing research have come across some graphic, ultra graphic material on, and maybe, and you know what, in all fairness, we've been trying to talk about it and bring attention to this on this channel for well over a year, especially as we communicate and talk about our young people and how they are unable to handle rejection. And I've always blamed it on the video games and other things. But you know what this has taught me throughout this whole week of all this Zav Girl and stuff like that? And it's sad, but I think I hit the nail on the head when I say this. We have desensitized our country. We have desensitized our country, and that is not a good thing. That is really not a good thing. Even me, I look how in some of these conversations, how clinical I speak about them. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. We have a lot of freedoms in this country, and you know what? We have to be responsible with it. We do. And it's up for every person's, but let's not forget that people make mistakes. Okay? So this too shall pass. The waters will clear. The birds will start chirping. The sun will come out. Life will go on. A lot of people I hope have learned a lesson and realize that there are true people that can be hurt. My personal opinion is I don't believe Zav Girl intended to hurt someone. I don't believe that's in her character, just from what I know of her and seeing her. I don't know her. I don't watch her. I felt bad for her. Okay. I felt bad. And I feel bad for her because if I truly thought her intention was malicious, I would have been the first one out here clubbing her over the head. Right. I would have just been disgusted if I truly thought that that truly was her intention. And I just don't. And maybe I might be wrong, but I have to own that. Right. I have to own that for myself. And, I'm sorry it did cause some chaos, but, you know, these streets of social media and YouTube can be very detrimental. And never mind the half-hearted news articles. Like, they had a one-sided news article, which is, in part why a lot of people don't trust news organizations anymore. I mean, they could have presented both sides of this. They chose not to. That's on them. They could have, soft. Maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they wanted to make Zav Girl an example because, in all fairness, creators are pushing the envelope a little more and a little more. Even me, I have to question, whenever I do something, what. Even with the photos and the autopsies and stuff, I have to say, I always say, I hope I wouldn't. But see, I'm not in that position now. I never want to lie and say, I would never do this. And then like 2 years later, something happens where it's a point and people come out. I would hope I use my better judgment. I would hope that I would use it. And I will always say that because I'm not put in the situation now. And so I can't say one way or another, depending on certain elements. I just wouldn't be requesting an autopsy, but nobody requested this autopsy. I think that's another part that the mainstream media could have emphasized is that nobody specifically requested these autopsy photos, that somebody made a mistake and distributed them. And everybody wanted to point the finger at Florida until we heard the news. And I heard it from multiple creators that got this file, that it was ordered from Colorado. It was ordered from Colorado. It was a very expensive file. They reduced the cost and sent out an email to all these people to say, hey, we reduced the cost of this file if you want it. And so a whole bunch of people, they either got together. It was that cost for every single person. So a couple people decided to go into the file together, order it, and then they just split the cost of it, and they both got the file. So I just want to make sure everybody understands what actually transpired. I was told to stay off this topic. Just stay away from it. Don't get into it. And the more days that go by, the more frustrated I get about the hypocrisy of it. And, no different than my legal claim that, nothing's really going to happen. And truly, the sad part is that's what's going to happen, because Gannon's parents let's be honest, they've already been through a lot. They're not going to fly halfway across the country to sue somebody, because they're going to have to go to her state to sue her. Or if she's in another, I don't even know. I've never even studied the law. I'm sure we learned it when I was in school 20 years ago, but I don't even know how to sue somebody overseas. Like I've never had that type of lawsuit or that experience with that type of lawsuit of suing somebody overseas. I don't know where Zav Girl is, right? So they're already going through this. They're probably, and I'm hoping that whoever has this stuff up takes it down. Okay, it's in bad taste. The family has spoken about it. If you truly care about the family, honor their wishes. Honor their wishes, and take the stuff down. It's never going to be fully removed. I truly believe that. But the family, they're in pain, guys. They're like in pain. They're upset. I really, and this is what upsets me the most. They didn't know that this had happened. It was because everybody brought their attention, which almost seems like they intended to hurt the family in a sense. And that part of me, because, if you wanted to let the family know it, do it from a place of love, not malicious intent for the other person that you're tattletaling on, And I feel bad for the family, because I just feel like this was, they were already dealing with Gannon. They're already dealing with Letitia being found guilty. Now they're dealing with the potential of graphic stuff being getting out, or been sent out on their very personal case. And then to have everybody and their mother ringing their phones off, telling them that their son's autopsy photos are spread all over the internet. To me, that just seems like even more of an assault on them. And it still continues and still continues and still continues. And I just really feel bad for the family. And I'm sure everybody feels bad for the family. But I honestly believe if people feel bad for the family, that maybe we just give them a break, quit contacting them, quit tagging them in videos. None of us know what they're going through. And this can't be comfortable for them. So why doesn't everybody just take a breath, take a step back? Okay, it's a bad situation. No point in making it worse, if not, but for the sake of Gannon's family and Gannon. I think everybody's position on this subject and on this topic has been said. It's been known. It's had heavy costs for at least one creator. I think more should be on that. I really do. But that's not for me to decide. That's for the audience to decide. And it comes back again to my original statement, right? That everybody that was so unpopular. But if you're going to be outraged at one, be outraged at them all. That's my message on this topic. Now getting to despicable stuff. So this is where I'm coming back to where I think it was only 3 decomposing bodies, because this is what it says, 3 decomposing bodies found at the Colorado campsite. It was the 2 additional bodies that I think gave Mercury News kind of this 5-body thing. However, we do have what they perceive may be the cause of death. You guys, many of you were right. Malnutrition and hyperthermia. They believe that these were people that went out there that were living in that area full time. So they believe it was homeless people, or that was where they were living, and they tried to hunker down for the winter. And the winter was too horrible for them. So this is a situation. Many people, we went through what are the possibilities, and some people said weather in here. There were many people that said weather in here, and brought up food. So it does appear that these people were out there camping full time and decided to stick around for the winter. And the winter was not good to them, and they did not survive. That's what we're seeing or hearing. So I thought that was interesting and wanted to make sure that you guys knew about that. Here's the other one that's making headlines today. And this is where a group of people were heading out. Here, we'll just listen to it and you guys will hear it. I think. Why isn't it not?
This evening, Sheriff's Office spokesman Patrick Orr told us earlier tonight.
Body was found on the bank of the Boise River earlier tonight.
Ada County Sheriff's Office says it was found near East Whitby Lane in Eagle just after 6:30 this evening. Sheriff's Office spokesman Patrick Orr told us earlier tonight, people hanging out in that area smelled something bad just before finding the body partially submerged in the water. The body's decomposing and looks to have been in that spot for a while.
Based on the body's condition and position, Orr tells us they don't want to definitively say whether it's a man or a woman. The Sheriff's Office and the Ada County Coroner are investigating, and they're asking people to avoid that general area.
So this is one where we don't really know what happened. We really don't. They're keeping a lot of stuff hush-hush with relations to this body that showed up. So what had happened, at least my understanding, is there was a group of people there. I don't know their age, whether they're teenagers or whether they're adults or something, but it wasn't just one person, like one woman or something like that. It sounded like it was a group of people, and this really foul odor was just distracting. And apparently they decided to find out what it was. Just curiosity, right? Maybe they thought it was a dead dog or animal or side. I doubt that they thought they were going to come across what they came across. But then right there on the bank, it was a partially submerged, kind of in the water, out of the water type of thing. But they did, body. And so this body is also heavily decomped. And they believe that it has been here also for some significant amount of time. Maybe just like this, they won't release the age, they won't release the gender, they won't release whether they believe it's if it smells like foul play, accident, or possible medical issue. Just because you're in the water doesn't mean he could have been walking and had a heart attack and bam. This was in Ada County, Idaho. This is in Ada County, Idaho, right off the Boise River banks, somewhere in there. Let's see if we got any new docs. I was actually surprised. I was sitting here yesterday afternoon. I had my whole live all set up I was certain there was going to be new documents dropped yesterday. I was absolutely certain they were going to drop, and nothing dropped. They didn't drop anything. And I know we're getting really close. Like, we're like 10 days away from Brian Kohberger having to pony up his alibi. I wonder how he's going to explain all of this stuff. Aw, Sepsis, you're always never feeling good. We're always so happy to have you here. Mike, good morning. Time check. Everybody knows my schedule. Time to check the docket. You know it. Nothing there. And so I was sitting here, and it was like, I get here early. And so I'm just like clicking, because this is like, a major thing now. Like, people are sitting by their computer waiting for these documents so they can be the first one to let them go. So I've said, well, what the heck? Why don't I get into this competition? Why don't I get into this thing and see if I can, get those records off first, and grab some of that audience in with that, So I'm sitting here and I'm just clicking, refresh. I told you guys I'd come back tomorrow. Refresh. Nothing. I refreshed up until almost 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's pronounced with a long A. Ada. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chaptas. Ada County. I probably said it wrong on my TikTok video too. And for those that don't know, I've been doing some stuff over on TikTok. It's not quite because I forgot how to use it. I'm an old geezer, okay? And I forgot how to use TikTok. So I had to have one of my young friends come over here, one of my cool friends. They had to come over here and like tell this old geezer how to use TikTok again. So now I'm doing some videos on TikTok. Definitely not as spectacular. I forgot how I did them back in the day with the Gabby Petito stuff, but I'm getting better, and I will start having good content on TikTok coming out. I'm going to probably start downloading some of the TikTok stuff and putting it up here on YouTube as shorts, but it's not going to be for like 24 or 48 hours after they originally post on TikTok. Give you guys a reason to go see TikTok first, right? So with that being said, I just thought I would let you guys know, if you guys are interested and you're TikToking, go over there and sub up to Bullhorn Betty. I do have some stuff, and that's kind of just like little bits of information. Like, you can only do I guess you could do a 10-minute video, but my 10-minute videos never get good, because people like quick stuff. They like the stuff that's just nugget size, like blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 right? So they just like it bite size. Old geezer. I'm an old geezer. Hey, I'm a pretty old geezer, but I'm still an old geezer, right? I'm getting up there. I'm a middle-aged woman, right? Middle-aged woman. I'm an old geezer. So we'll keep monitoring this. But let me go back to some of the stuff, because there's been some stuff that we've been glossing over, and I touched that. I signed up for this. I don't know. It's a website that really just, I don't know how they get all their information, but they've got a good algorithm that just really just gets into the web and pulls all the gunk out, like all the crime cases out. It's pretty interesting. I'm older. I'm older. Don't say that. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Did you miss that, Mike? It was yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. I was teasing you because I'm like, I was in a chat. Now that I know you're here, you probably were here for it, but I can't remember if you were or not. But I was in a chat, and it was, I can't remember whose chat it was. I only watched like a handful of YouTuber. So it must have been somebody that we both watch. Anyways, I see you saying, oh, well, he's probably innocent. I'm like, oh, that's definitely Mike. He's probably innocent. So I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, Mike. Check it out, okay? I think we should do like a mock court. You'll be the defense attorney, right? You'll be the defense attorney. I'll be the prosecution. Your defendant will pay you in Big Macs. You know, I'll get paid in Starbucks, and we argue the case, right? We argue the case. So there is some twisted people, right? We come here and in the cases, some of the cases, believe it or not, that we cover pale into comparison. Like there's some cases that I read about that I just like, why didn't this seems like people would be screaming this stuff from the rooftops. It's so weird and bizarre and ugh, right? And I come across these dailies, these TC dailies, and find like there's a lot of sickos out there. It stuff that we're not even talking about, like just sickos. And they live in our backyards and next to us and stuff. Like this is in Arizona. This is in Arizona. I got one for each state, guys. Like I could do 50 states of crime every single day and have a new case in every one of our states. It makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me sick to my stomach. Homicide victim found wrapped in a tarp in a remote Arizona desert has been identified. He has been identified. On December 4th, 2022, at approximately 11:36 in the morning, deputies responded to an area near Alamode and Boreana Mine Road after an individual riding side-by-side vehicles discovered remains. At the scene, deputies found a body wrapped in a tarp alongside a large pile of debris. The remains were transported to Mojave County medical examiners for an autopsy in February. The sheriff released more information about the victim, including his clothing, jewelry, and appearance, but there was still no positive results several months later. Apparently on July 12th, they finally announced detectives with the help of Othram. I don't know if anybody's heard of that before. Othram Inc., which positively identified him as a 50-year-old Brandon Parlanti. Well, we can definitely tell you that this Brandon Parlanti, is probably met his demise by foul play. I mean, people don't wrap themselves in tarps and dump themselves, right? So this is going to be something where they're going to be looking at his past, looking at everybody that had contact with him, people that made mistakes and said, oh yeah, I dropped him off at home and, I haven't seen him, or this, that, and the other. They're going to have to now go back and find out who's responsible for this. But we can definitely, we have like no information here, right? We have literally no information here. And I can already tell you whoever killed him most likely was somebody that he knew and trusted, because he was wrapped in a tarp and dumped. That means he would have been connected to them. So like even just this little bit of information that we're seeing in this article, I'm already formulating an opinion and speculating on what could have transpired. Debris. Where did the debris come from? We're probably going to find out that he was in a trucking or in some type of service, construction service or something, probably like that. Because it would have been a trailer with debris and this under the debris being dumped out there. So you're talking about work vehicles, and I'm talking about somebody that may know him. So, I put, and the only reason I'm saying this to you, because this is how my brain works whenever I'm reading this stuff. This is how my brain works. Now, is it right up front? Of course not. These are just initial things that are popping in my brain as I'm reading this one small little article. It takes more than that. After I do that, I find my theories. What could have possibly happened, right? You list those all out. What do you need? What do you need to prove it, a number of these things. And then you start looking at those avenues. And there may be something that you come across that says, oh, there's no way it could be this avenue. So now you eliminate, process of elimination. These are how people come up with why they come up with the positions that they have. So that's what I'm thinking here. I'm assuming that that is the gentleman that lost his life. That is the victim of this crime. I'm glad his family finally got answers about what could have happened to him. I make no heads or tails of the situation, but just knowing this stuff, I mean, it just seems like, with his teeth, I don't know. I don't know. Can you really tell somebody from a picture? Perhaps. Naturally, he's dead. I would think that he's got some drug or alcohol issues. These are just things. And where do I get this information? Because I use a lot of statistics. I mean, at this point, I readily know them. At one time, I didn't. I had to read the statistics. But over time, you're so familiar with certain statistics that it's easy to do deductive reasoning. So there's one man. This one is almost a little more disturbing. This is a man out of Minnesota that not only killed his mother, but decided to put her in, oh geez, I don't even know how to say. He dismembered her after spending all of her money. This man killed his mother. I'm just like, this is a woman that gave you life. You obviously are a piece of garbage that she took care of. I mean, look how old this man is. And he's still being taken care of by his mommy. By his mommy. And then when his mommy can't help him anymore, he decides to get rid of her. And I understand that his mother didn't really have, in accordance to law. I mean, people don't want to talk about the ugly truth about the law and how they determine what a person or what a human life is worth. Nobody wants to talk about that, right? Because that is an evaluation when you get into these court systems, even in situations like this. She's 82 years old. That didn't matter. He took her out, and I don't know. It's like at his age, it really doesn't matter. I don't know if it's like I'd want to go for the DP for him for just how disgusting and deplorable his actions were. But it's not even just the killing of his mother. It's that step after. This is a woman that brought you into the world, and you are literally taking her apart. There's just no good place for people. It's no good place for people. This guy's an animal to me. I would love to see the DP, but quite frankly, at his advanced age, what is that? He'll probably be dead before he's out of his appeals. So I'm good with life in prison for this animal. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't make sense. He's too old. He's too old for the DP. I think there are people that are just too old. And it's just realistic. I mean, to be honest with you, it's just realistic. It's not that I'm saying they shouldn't get it. They shouldn't get, the DP because of their age. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying by the time that they exhaust all their appeals, they're most likely dead anyways for the DP. It doesn't really matter. At this point, this man is going to serve life in prison if he is convicted. Even if he gets the DP as his sentence, he's going to die life in prison. He's not going to be put to death. He's too old. He most likely won't make it. He might. But statistically, he won't. I'm just joking. I didn't look into the statistics. I'll be honest. I didn't look into the statistics. But that's just sad. And so this is coming out of Minnesota, 56-year-old man. That's what I'm telling you. Like even if I went to jail, if I killed somebody tomorrow, right, and I went to jail, I'm almost too old. But I would probably get right under there because it'd probably be about 30 years. So I'd still be 70. They could probably still take me out, right? 56. By the time you go through trial, you exhaust your appeals, 20 some years of appeals, you're most likely not, you're 76, 80 years old. With the health and the treatment and lack of medical care inside, these prisons, your life is even diminished even more. So it's all statistical. And if you wonder why I know these things, I used to sell health insurance, right? So these statistics. I used to sell health insurance. We know mortality rates. It is really, you want to hear something disturbing? You want to hear something that's disturbing to me? Trying to put a value on somebody's life. How can you do that? They're like insurance company do it with no regards whatsoever. Right? Like there's literally mortality charts and things that put price tags on ailments that you have. It's crazy. It's crazy. But the Burnsville Police Department investigators began looking into mail theft committed by Troy Mitteness because some of the money taken was deposited into his mother's account. Police wanted to speak to his mother, Sandra Mitteness, and Troy first told him she was in South Dakota. Then he claimed she died June 14th, 2022. Police conducted a search of Troy's home and found Sandra's obituary, which stated she died June 14, 2022. However, police spoke with the funeral home and cited the obituary. The funeral home denied ever providing postmortem care or funeral-related services to this man or the victim. None of Sandra's family's friends had seen her in several months either. Police opened a missing person investigation into her whereabouts, and Troy allegedly told family his mother fell downstairs June 2022 and was hospitalized. And when the family asked about the visit, he allegedly claimed she should not receive visitors because she contracted COVID. And that was the time frame that they couldn't see him, COVID-19. After her apparent death, Troy sold his mother's car to a relative who he said he wanted to get rid of victim's car quickly, even offering it for free. So he was trying to get rid of the car. He was offering that car to anybody for free. That doesn't sound like a grieving son. That would have been a red flag. And he sold it to a family member. That's even a bigger red flag. The relative allowed police to search the car, and the investigators reportedly found traces of blood in the trunk. On July 6th, Burnsville police officers executed a warrant at Troy's home. In the process, they reportedly found an indication of the presence of blood on the stairs and mattress. While speaking with the police, Mitteness allegedly admitted to killing his mother. Some sick stuff in this world. But none as disturbing as this one. This lady right here likes to Brian Kohberger infants. Right? Likes to Brian Kohberger infants. And this is sick. A jury has indicted 32-year-old Weston woman on 2 criminal charges for Brian Kohberger her 3-month-old daughter late last year. So while we were dealing with Brian Kohberger and the Idaho 4, she's Kohbergering her 3-month-old child. What would ever make a mother, I mean, of all things to do, that is just, that's just sick. Absolutely, utterly sick. So there you have it, guys. Lots of stuff going on in the news. A lot of sick, deplorable stuff going on in the news all day, every day. all day, every day. No end in sight. Just a bunch of despicable people doing despicable things. And none of them related to anything that anybody out here is talking about. Does that 3-month-old baby not deserve their story told? Does the 82-year-old mother that's being dismembered by her son not matter? Does the construction worker with the drug problem being dumped on in an Arizona desert, does his name not matter? There's a lot of things that go on each and every day or in and around us. Not everybody can cover everything every time and can do it well all the time, 24/7. Nobody. Not even the mainstream media. People don't even trust them anymore. They don't trust them because they're skewed in their news. They're biased in their news. At least when they come here to the Bullhorn Betty channel, they know they're going to get facts and they're going to get my bias. And you know why? Because I don't act like I'm not biased. I don't act like I want to report this. No, you're coming here. You're going to get your facts. You can make your own decision, but you're going to hear mine. That's the cost. That's the cost of the ride here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, right? You might get your facts here, but you also will get my opinion, right? You're going to get my 2 cents, right? And we're not all going to agree 100% of the time. And trust me, we're going to make mistakes. I mean, look at Brian. Somebody was like, oh my God, I can't believe Bullhorn Betty. She pulled up the wrong name. When they made the arrest, they pulled up the wrong name. You're right, I did. That was like the most fluid situation I had ever had. We literally, in 2 minutes, found out that somebody was arrested in Pennsylvania, and that we didn't know who they were. Give me just a second, Mom. They didn't know who we were or who they were. So somebody sent me that. Within literally 30 seconds after that photo was up, we did have Brian Koberger. It was just a fluid situation. It was a mistake. And you know what? Even on that same show, I'm like, oh, this is not even the right guy. Right? But go ahead. Can't wait to start using. And we are going to get another show. We're going to let things die down here. We're going to let things die down. We're going to let things die down. But we're going to have a show. We're going to be addressing a lot. Not this year, but next year. Right? This year was cleaning up year. Next year is going to be. All right. Mama Bullhorn, you have something to say. Oh, let me turn this on. You could have waited until I got the phones on, but that's okay. We got you. I just don't want to make sure I don't dox you. All right. You're on go.
Well, good morning, baby.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Let's see. I've been up since 4, and I've done my nails, my toes. I put my acid wash on, and I'm going to color my hair later on. But anyways, it's a day of beauty for me. But you shocked me in saying Kobergering. Okay.
It's because there's some, when you're dealing with children, you got to be careful. I mean, as long as it's fleeting, YouTube doesn't mind. But if we started getting into a conversation about an infant being Kobergered, it's an issue that it's an ad. Let me answer your question, Mom. It's an ad suitability issue.
Okay. Is it about the article I sent you yesterday? In the baby bottle?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just at a loss. I was watching Dolly early this morning, and I'm going, oh my God, I have to get a life. But anyhow,
actually, I think I popped in there and said hi, didn't I? Did I say hi? But I was half asleep. Like I just woke up, and when I wake up, I wake up and I pop in. I just, go and hit the live button to see who's live, because it might be Dumplin', it might be Dolly, it might be one of the late night people, so I can pop in there and say hi to everybody. That's the only time I can is when I'm waking up. And so I thought I went in there. I thought I said hi, but I was so tired that I literally rolled back over and went back to bed. I didn't get up until 4 this morning.
Well, what woke me up was this music. My goodness, it was loud this morning. But anyway, we won't discuss what he discussed because you've already rehashed it. And
I just wish people would let it go because it's, I understand that they want to have their pitchforks. It's the calling of the hate groups to try to take another channel. Like they thrive off of it. They're sick people. So you know what? But at the end of the day, this is, if you really care about Gannon's family, don't you think that it's time you've made your point? Everybody's made their point. Why don't we back off? Because they still need to heal, folks. I mean, if it is truly about Gannon and his family and their need to heal, shut up. It's done. It's over with. Let them move on with their life. It was a lesson learned. It was a horrible lesson.
People thrive on negativity. It makes money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, everybody wants to complain about everybody making money, but they don't want to talk about themselves making money. And I mean that for mainstream media too.
You know what? I was raised very, very strictly in the thought, judge ye not, lest ye be judged. And I certainly don't want to do anything in my life to affect my going through those pearly gates one of these days.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And grudge keepers and people who make themselves judges.
Mm-hmm.
And God rest your souls, because something so simple, because the Bible says, and if you believe the Bible is a representation of what was said, it says, oh, for God's sakes, I forgot what it says. Basically, there is no measurement of sin.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of religions out there, and I'm married to a man that disagrees with me. There is no measurement of sin. So the thought and the action are weighed exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be careful, folks. I'm on and a turkey man, I'd love you to weigh in on this. Because from the day I was born, I sat in a chair in the church. Either it was my grandpa, my daddy, or my father-in-law preaching. So I believe I'm right, but Turkey Man can correct me. But anyways, I just wanted to call and say I love everyone. And the word co-burgering just shocked me. I'm Googling it. It was all about the Coburg Castle.
And we'll think about how he committed his crime. So when you think of me saying co-burger, now you know what kind of crime I'm talking about.
Yes. Queen Victoria's husband was a Coburg.
Yeah.
He was he was a German prince,
mm-hmm.
and his home was the Coburg Castle,
mm-hmm.
which I remembered from all the Queen Victoria shows I watched.
All right, Ma, I don't want a history lesson on my channel, my true crime channel. I'm sorry.
I know, but you know what? History lesson goes back to all the true crime.
I appreciate it. Yep. No history lessons, please.
Oh, cool.
I don't want to hear about Queen Elizabeth.
Let me think if I can think of a funny anecdote.
No, what you're going to do now is, because I told you I don't want to hear history, you're going to find a funny anecdote about me.
Yes, I'm going to. One time we went to.
All right. Anyway, guys, we will see you in another. No, I'm just joking. Go ahead, Mom.
One time we went to the mall. And
if you're talking about slamming my head in a door, that is the last thing that we need across the streams of YouTube, Mom. Really?
Okay.
Dude, really? Really?
you popped my bro.
Of course. Yes. Of course. I knew that was coming. I
thought I killed you. That's why. It's traumatic for me.
Mom, I want to know, did you drop me on my head when I was a baby? Be honest.
Absolutely not.
I was going to say absolutely.
Now, your dad almost let you drown out at the tiny bridge.
That's all right. I'm one of the best swimmers now because of it.
But, folks, don't go fishing out at Terracea at the foot of the Skyway, because it can be 6 inches and then suddenly 30 feet.
Yeah.
and there's eddies and rip currents, and Andrea was in one of them. She fell in a hole and was sucked in, and her dad, thank God.
No, it was me and Angela, and he lost all of his gear. Yeah, but we were fine. He ended up pulling us out. He just reached, he's a dad. He just reached in there with both hands, did one of those
were
things.
Both holding on to each other, thank God. And he fell.
He went over there and just went.
Was here and pulled it, and we both came up.
All right, Mom, don't be getting all melancholy.
It's not what you can see.
No, but
okay.
I love you too. Bye-bye. Have to get that. She was going to say something. Guys, mark my word. I didn't want to hear about history. See, the punishment when you don't want to hear about history from your mother is she says history about you. Okay? It's the Southern way. If you don't know it, learn it. So let's get Mama off there. She's going to have something. We like some embarrassing things, right? The time and place. But we don't need to hear how I was dropped on my head as a kid. I was not dropped on my head as a kid, okay? I have to give the Clip Channel something to make their money, right? They got to be able to put food on their table. We need stuff like that so they can put food on their table. We do help a lot of people besides just this channel. And we definitely feel the need to be, what is it? Philanthropists, right? Give them enough so they can go make some money. I need to stop. It's not even funny. Okay. So that's just getting back to the fact that we just have some despicable people out here in this country, out here in this world. There's not a whole lot going on like the Rudy Farias. It's, I'm waiting for the arrest. There's not a whole lot going on there. Janie's kicking up the fuss. Her whole, they've created this. I've got, it's hard for me with the case because I just feel like there's more there. I still don't feel that, I feel that Rudy has been manipulated a really long time. I feel he's a victim. I feel he needs some major help to help him because he does sound like he has been diluted with drugs and other things and abuses. He's never really had a normal life, a normalcy. And it's very concerning hearing how his older brother was his father figure and stuff like that, especially hearing some of the details out about it. But I still have to believe that I don't know. I'm just not feeling so warm and fuzzy about this case as I once did. And so I just really want to cautiously wait for more information to come out about this, and I really hope if Rudy did suffer the types of abuses that he did, I really do hope that the people that he's around now do the right thing and get him into the counseling and get him into the help that he needs. If those allegations are true, it just seems like they are. There are some, I can tell you just from looking and listening to him, there's definitely something there that's happened. He definitely needs to speak to somebody. He definitely needs professional advice. He doesn't need friendly advice. He needs professional. He needs professional help, not friendly help. So, I'm thankful with all the people in the community that has stepped up to help him, that has taken him in. Now he's staying with some family friends or whatnot. It's now time for him to, for them to now suggest him going into counseling or, doing something to help him, and maybe some classes, like some classes up at the local community college, doing anything from maybe computer networking. It seems like he's used to being, on the computers and stuff, like maybe some digital editing, video editing, web design, something along that line. Maybe get him something so he can start going to school and getting some of those, so build up some of those social skills that he really needs to have, that it sounds like he really hasn't had for a long time because he's kind of been under his mother's wing. We really don't know what happened inside that home. We're getting a lot of mixed information, which is causing me heartburn because the truth is the truth no matter how you look at it. And so with all of this information, I wasn't there, right? I wasn't there. I can't definitively say. So sometimes I can confirm I can corroborate. There's a lot of things I can do, but in this case, I just can't, and it makes me uncomfortable, quite frankly. It makes me really uncomfortable. But we did hear what we heard. You know, I hope Cornell X, you know, reviews some of those tapes, because he said he recorded it when he was with the law enforcement. So I would really like to hear maybe some bits and pieces. I don't think it's necessary for us to hear the whole thing, but I would like to hear some bits and pieces of it, just to see if it's possible that maybe Quinnell, because I don't believe Quinnell intentionally lied. There was people that reached out to me. Excuse me. There's people that reached out to me by email and said that he's the biggest liar and conspiracy theorist out there. And I'm thinking, and everybody knows it. That's what I said. Everybody knows this. And I said, well, then why are you here with such a, like I say on anything, why are you here with such a bold statement? If everybody knows, where's the information that formulated that opinion? So I'm asking them, you know, send me the articles, send me the information where I can make that determination. Because in all fairness, if he's a big old fat liar, I want to tell my audience this. Well, guess what? The person outside of the allegation never sent anything to support their position. And the only thing I've got to go on is his reputation. And his reputation is great as an activist and an advocate. You know, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. I mean, it's as if I would have gone in there. I don't see any purpose for me as an activist or an advocate, if I was in that room, to come out and lie. In all fairness, I don't know if I would have put that much personal information out there for me. I don't know. I'm not put in that position. I would hope that I do the right thing. I would hope that. But again, I haven't been put in that position. I don't know what I would do if I was in that position. But I would hope that my better judgment would be that I may not put all of that information out there, put just enough out there for them to understand what was. But I have to also consider the shock effect. You know, maybe at the beginning he was just so disgusted in the shock that it just kind of just fell out of his mouth. You guys know I have what I refer to as a pop mouth, right? A pop mouth, P-O-P, pop mouth. It's when it comes in my brain, it pops out my mouth, right? Pop mouth. And I've worked very hard on it. You guys seen me 2 years ago. It was almost uncontrollable, right? But as you grow, you know, doing this work, as you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes, and you try to be a better person, you know, tomorrow than you were the day before. It's really all it's expected of us. But I don't see any purpose for Quinnell to lie. I just don't. And then to hear Rudy and to hear law enforcement, and then I've gotta rely on my brain. You know, I gotta say, okay, you know, let's look at this. So we had a situation where a boy just showed up one day after 8 years. Nobody knew he was around. Nobody knew this. Nobody knew that. He just shows up 8 years, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you know, he's been missing for 8 years. Well, we find out he wasn't. Now we have law enforcement coming out, checking on him. We have Quinnell because Janie's concerned that law enforcement is about to arrest her for, you know, these number of things, hiding her son, whatever, which I truly believe she did. I believe she manipulated Rudy into being a willing participant. I'm hoping, let me preface that, I'm hoping she manipulated him into being the willing participant as opposed to him doing it willfully. But there was some willful act that Rudy did do. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie to my audience, and I'm not going to downplay it. But what I will say is I do believe he was under his mother's care, under his mother's thumb, and under his mother's control when doing that. That's what I truly believe in my heart of hearts, based on everything I've heard so far. But I still believe at some point he became a willing participant. Take it for what you will. Now, do I think he's responsible for that? I'm not sure until I know all of the information. I think right now it's premature to say anything. But I think he needs help no matter what. He was abused by his mother. And I'm hoping that that's enough. But that also might be the reason why they're not arresting his mother. And why maybe he may have been advised to back off the SA allegations with his mother, because he stated on that interview, he's 26 years old. That means he was 18 at the time he disappeared. That means everything that he said he did with his mother, he would have done with his mother as an adult. And there's nothing law enforcement can do because you're an adult, you're cognizant, and you're making decisions, whether manipulated decisions or not. It's you that's making that decision. So I think somebody, and in all fairness, it sounds like a friend, even if that friend was law enforcement, may have pulled him aside and said, look, man, I understand what you're doing here. I can't imagine what you are possibly going through and what you've possibly been through. But we're not going to be able to charge your mother on these things. You don't want this stigma. You do not want this following you around the rest of your life. I know you don't. But there's nothing we can do. And all this is going to do is cause you more injury and more pain in the future. What I think you need is counseling, but what you do not need is to have these types of allegations public. That's kind of the conversation. That would be if I was in a situation like this and somebody was before me and this that would be the conversation I would have with them because I care for them. And no matter what, I would want, even if it happened, it's for him to get over. It's for him to get the help. It's not for the community to know that. That is so ultra personal and something that could have him teased. There's a lot of bigots in this country, right? Hearing something like that and just wanting, we know that people, if they don't like you and they want to bully you, they're going to go with the lowest of the low. Like, well, you were effing you see what I'm saying? It could get really nasty. So, with people and how they speak. So I kind of feel like that's kind of what I'm feeling has gone on behind the ear. Not that Quinnell lied, not that, Rudy was lying. I think it was just one of those things that it's better left to just distance yourself from that claim. That's kind of because we're looking at his behavior, guys. We know he's been abused. We know something happened. We know that something had to majorly happen for him to finally just have enough and say, I can't live like this anymore. And that's what he expressed on that interview. So just a thought. I'm trying to decide. I really want to open up the phones, but I really just don't want to open up the phones today. I'm pretty exhausted. I have been having some not sleepless nights. It's not like that. It's just that I've been going, like yesterday I went to bed so grossly early and it wasn't my fault. I'm there working and I just doze off. Sometimes I just work because I'm up so early in the mornings that in the evening hours, because I got blinds, they're all drawn here, even though it's light, they have some light coming in. When it starts getting dark, the house is fairly dark, even with the lights on. Anyways, long story short, I woke up around 1 or 2 o'clock this morning with every light on in the house because I didn't mean to fall asleep, and the door unlocked, which I would never leave the door unlocked, right? And so I'm just like, okay, like I fell asleep and I woke up. And then when I woke up, I was wide awake. I was out. I was out. And then, 1, 2 o'clock this morning rolled around. So guess what happens? Tonight around 7:30, I'm probably going to be tired. And if I'm in a comfortable position, whether I'm reading documents or not, apparently I'm going to fall out. One thing we didn't get to today, and then I'm going, actually 2 things we didn't get to today. And I want to go over before I close out for the day. And I just want to say thank you to all the people that came here and supported the channel today. As we learned, because the thumbnail was very basic, it was very general. You guys didn't know what I was going to be talking about, whether I was going to be talking about the Idaho 4, whether I was we're talking about a little bit of everything. But I really wanted to get some things off of my chest with relations to, some of the things that are on your chest. We're seeing people come over here and beat me up for having an opinion and stating some realities, unpopular viewpoints about the situation with Zabgirl. I'm sorry. People took offense to it. They take offense to it. But let's be clear. I did not purchase, publish, acquire anything. So you have displaced anger. So quit being petty and irrational and be angry at the people that you need to be angry at. But it's not here. You can try to drag me into it and tag my name and flag me in it and act like I did something wrong all day long. But you look like an idiot at the end of the day because everybody here knows I have done absolutely zero wrong. And I maintain that. I have an opinion and I will always have an opinion. If you don't like it, not my problem. Comes back to changing that channel, right? Comes back to changing that channel. So July 14th says, take care of yourself no matter what. Some days we wake up in the morning and by the time we go to bed that evening, our lives has twisted and changed in a way that we couldn't predicted and don't want to. Our worst fears have come true. Life as we know it will never be the same again. The problem isn't just that this tragedy has come along and knocked our lives for a loop, although that alone would be enough. To complicate matters, we now know how vulnerable we are. And we wonder, in that vulnerability, if we can even trust God, life, or ourselves again. Many years, founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, a spiritual-based program designed to help alcoholics recover, caution people not to base sobriety and faith in God on the false notion that any person is immune from tragedy. They knew that life would continue to be life. You are not alone in your joys or in your sorrow. And you may feel that way for a while, but as soon as you'll begin to see that many others have experienced, surrounded to, or surrendered to, and transcended a similar misfortune or loss. Your pain is important, but you're not being singled out. Don't use your misfortune to prove that you are right all along. You're a victim of circumstance, fate, and God. God must really love me, a young man said one day after walking away from a motorcycle accident that could have been tragic. God loves all of us, whether we walk away pain-free or not. Keep taking care of yourself no matter what. God transformed my pain into compassion for others and myself, right? It's all about growth and learning in life. It's all about making mistakes, either being wise or being smart, learning from your own mistakes, being wise, learning from others. I think many of us out here on the streets of YouTube are getting a little wiser, right? We're learning from other people's mistakes. I think as we grow, we're going to be, social media and alternative media is going to come under heavy scrutiny as news and other things start going away. That's why all news organizations are converting online, right? They're all converting online because cable, it's dying out there. I mean, there's a lot of households that have cable in them, but every single year that passes, more and more households are ditching and cutting the cable lines and going to streaming services. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, right? A lot of different ones too. Now we got, networks like Oxygen, Paramount, all these places realize that they're not surviving on cable. They've stopped. I mean, they still have their channels on cable, but they know it's just a matter of time. So they preemptively started setting up their apps and stuff and started charging you $2.99, $3.99, this, that, and the other. But as cable dies down, those channels are going to have multiple channels within their, like they're doing now. So you're going to, if you say you like Paramount, they have like 5, 10, 20 different channels that are owned all by Paramount. You'll have access to them. I have Amazon and YouTube. That's all I have. I don't pay for Netflix. I don't buy Hulu. I don't do YouTube TV. I know they sell it here. I don't do any of that. Like, I'm not paying $40. If I'm paying $40 a month, what's the difference with cable? What's the difference with cable? So, no. Sonia, I can't forgive myself. How can I expect God to? Oh, well, I think first thing is self-love. You got to love yourself. You got to love yourself and forgive yourself before you're capable of loving and forgiving others. That's really my 2 cents on that. Anyways, guys, I don't want to get too much into a philosophical type of conversation, right? Anyways, it is Friday, TGIF to all my lovelies. And I just want to tell you, you guys have a great day. God bless each and every one of you. Make it a great weekend. You know, weekend's a great opportunity to do an act of kindness to a perfect stranger, which we're always recommending for our coffee club. You know, we're always recommending, you know, be a part of your community, be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. And I think we're going to do something different in this next year. So last year, I didn't know what to quite do for my birthday. I didn't know what to do. So this year, I know it's really, really hard for my audience to figure out what we want to do. So I'll probably, you know, buy my own little cake and have my own little balloons back here this year, September. But my wish, if you guys want to give me a gift for my birthday, this is the gift that I really want from each and every one of you. So in September, I want everybody that loves and cares for me to volunteer. That's really what I want for my birthday from my audience. It doesn't matter when you volunteer or where you volunteer, or it does matter when you volunteer. You can't volunteer now and say, hey, Betty, I volunteered back in July for your birthday. No. September. It has to be in September. But that's really what I would like, whether it's volunteering at a animal shelter for a day to wash a dog, a soup kitchen, maybe a nonprofit, maybe helping out at church when you don't normally help out at church, doing an act of kindness for a perfect stranger. Those are all the wishes that I would like this year from each and every one of my audience that wants to support my birthday with me. It's you doing an act of kindness for a perfect stranger. And I really, I like to preface it with volunteering, because anybody can do an act of kindness for a perfect stranger in a split second. But to actually go out of your way to go to a soup kitchen or to help somebody that has literally nothing, and be able to give them food and pray over them and actually help them. And then also the animals, you know, there's a lot of animal shelters out there that could really use a lot of hands. We've got a lot of animals that are displaced, you know, from either natural disasters, owners not wanting them, you know, just multiple litters, a lot of different things. They can always use a hand at those animal shelters for walking the dogs, cleaning the pens, taking the dogs, you know, playing with the dogs, trying to train the dogs, getting around other animals. There's a lot that can happen that you can really help out with. So if anybody is wanting to know what I want for my birthday this year, that's what I would like. So God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe and kind to one another. And we're going to go out a little differently today.